And he started playing in 2000.
Unbelievable Player of the Year, First Place Player Championship. Technically, yeah, 3 Player of the Year titles. But we're going to go and we're going to look at what he does and did very quietly throughout day 2 here.
Very exciting.
In this draft format, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever gotten that.
Here you go. There you see. He's flipping through the pack, and this is going to be, we're going to start in Journey into next. And this is Yuya Watanabe drafting the top 8 here at Grand Prix Washington, D.C. I like his little filing system.
Yeah. And, I mean, I like Mogus's Warhound more than I like Magma Spray. This pack is so loaded with, like, good but not amazing red cards that I have to wonder if he'll consider one of the other color cards.
Like Grim Guardian, which he's sort of shifting forward.
Grim Guardian and Ajani's Presence are definitely worse than Mogus's Warhound. And I'm not big.
Is Mogus's Warhound ahead of Blade Tuskmore? Yeah,
for me, Mogus's Warhound is the best of the red cards. But I don't fault him for Grim Guardian there. I'm not big about worrying what I pass. But when the 3 best cards in the pack are all red, and none of them are even like bombs or amazing cards, I don't mind taking a slightly worse card in a different color.
Right. We see an Eidolon of Blossoms was in this pack.
Yeah, and I think that'll be an easy pick for him. It goes well with Grim Guardian. That, you know, they have synergy. They're looking to be in the same deck. And you're not going to commit to a Grim Guardian so much you're going to take one of these black cards over Eidolon of Blossoms, because these black cards are substantially worse than Eidolon of Blossoms.
There's also a Riptide Chimera in that pack.
Also worse than Eidolon of Blossoms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be pretty surprised if he didn't take Eidolon here.
You would not mind having both of those cards.
No, maybe if he can table it.
Yeah, and that's what I wonder if he's thinking, like, is it possible as he runs through the card count, see how many playables there are.
Yeah. And, I mean, definitely he's got the Eidolon now. He'll see what comes. I mean, I'm sure if he has to drop the Grim Guardian, he's not going to mind. It's a good card. It's not a great card. Well, there you go. There's a Feast of Dreams. I mean, he's drafting the Enchantment Synergy deck so far.
Right.
But, I mean, I would never go so far as to take Oakheart Ride over Feast of Dreams' 3rd pick of the draft. I mean, you don't know what you're going to see the rest of this draft, and Feast is going to be good in any deck.
Right, and we've been really waiting for people to draft Feast of Dreams as highly as it deserves.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it was one of the top commons before the last Pro Tour. I mean, Golden Hind we had at number 1, which I still think is number 1. Possibly Feast number 2. I don't remember for sure. I think Feast was number 2 right behind Golden Hind.
So Nixon Fusion, the Golden Hind Ox.
And this is a pretty close pick, I imagine. I don't think I really value Nyxborn Infusion high enough, but I think I'm probably wrong. I saw William Jensen take it in the first draft. I just went over there and watched, even though we didn't cover that draft. And he took it over something else that was pretty good. And I went and asked him about it. He was like, you know, it's removable. It's not the best removal, but it's removable. It's not a first pick, but as far as like a 3rd to 5th pick, that's about where he has it, it seems. And Yuya seems to agree.
Right. And Yuya seems like he may have taken that card too soon. And now they're like, now draft.
Yeah, I think I was standing there. I think that there was like a 10-second holdup of some kind.
Sure.
I'm not sure why he would have to put the card back. Maybe he just wanted to think now that he had the extra 10 seconds.
Sure.
Don't do that in any local drafts or anything. Once you've taken a card down, you're not really allowed to return it. But since we have him on film here, I think it's pretty clear that it was okay.
There's Nessie and Game Warden. Brain Maggot.
Yeah, and this is interesting because, I mean, obviously Brain Maggot has the synergy, but Game Warden's a much better card.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is he going to go synergy with his Eidolon of Blossoms and Grim Guardian and Enchantress theme, or is he going to go
4/5 Impulse?
Right. I think he took the Brain Maggot, and I think one good reason for that is he's not necessarily green. I think his only green card is Eidolon of Blossoms.
Right, right.
Eidolon of Blossoms is a very good green card, and seeing a Game Warden 5th makes me believe I'm seeing green. But at this point, he's got 4 black cards and the Eidolon, I believe.
So Font of Fertility is a card that seems to have plummeted in value since the Pro Tour. There were a handful of teams that really liked that card.
Yeah,
had it very high.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Channel Fireball. I mean, we usually do well in the limited portion, and I guess we were spot on because we didn't think Font was great. We think it's okay. You could play it if you have a splash and you don't want a splash or something.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think Font is great. I think, you know, if you have a lot of 4 drops, not very many 2 drops, then you can play it. If you have a splash, you can play it.
Dreadbringer Lampads was the pick there. Wow, there's a lot of options for him. Cast into Darkness is a fine card. Golden Hydox is fine.
Right. It looks like he's mostly staying black, which is good because it allows him to be the heavy black deck. And like we touched on earlier, this isn't a corrupt format, it's a Gray Merchant format. So even though Eidolon of Blossoms is double green, you could just play 10 Swamp, 7 Forest and play Eidolon of Blossoms.
Right, look at this Nyx Infusion coming around super late.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what Yuya has done here. A lot of people might be black-green in his seat, but Yuya still has the option to play anything with his black, and that's huge right now because he hasn't made big sacrifices to do it because the black cards and the green cards have been close anyway. And if he opens a bomb rare in red, blue, or white, he has the option to do that with his black now.
Right. And the reality is, the black cards run deeper in the other two packs,
And
so you can get a signal and say, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
And look at all the great black he got out of this pack. So I mean, he's in great shape for this draft.
He takes Screwfix's Insight with
ton of
all the enchantments he took. Yeah.
Brain Maggot, double Nyxborn Infusion, Eidolon of Blossoms. I mean, of course, Grim Guardian that he first picked, tons of enchantments. That's the kind of card that I think it's so cute that people want to dismiss it. And more often than not, you shouldn't play it. Like if you have 8 enchantments, 9 enchantments, you shouldn't play Screwfix's Insight. But sometimes when you have 13 enchantments, that's just a good card at that point.
Here's a Humbler of Mortals laid around the table in case people were wondering, like, oh, got to take the fatty. And a couple cards to round out the pack.
And this is an example how a deck should get there. You know, he took the Feast of Dreams, not the Oakheart Dryads, you know.
Right.
He's clearly going to take advantage of the Black-Green Enchantress synergy, but he didn't move all in like we see some drafters do. You know, he kept his options open, saw what came, took a quality card like Feast of Dreams over a more combo synergy card, Oakheart Dryads early, and now look at his deck.
I mean, he can just grind down his opponent's creatures, take apart the hand. Maybe he'll get a couple of Disciple of Phenax, you know, in the Theros pack.
He has the ability to be a good mono black devotion deck. He has the Enchantress theme going as well, and he didn't sacrifice his whole draft moving in. And then, like, let's say that Screwfix's Insight just didn't table, and let's say he missed one of the packs didn't have an enchantment. He could ruin his whole draft by taking Oakheart Dryad over Feast of Dreams, because that's such an extreme pick, you know. But you have to love what Yuya's done. And I pretty much agree with every pick he's made. This is just good booster drafting so far.
By the way, those Nyx Infusions can be pretty nice on a Grim Guardian, or they actually serve. You know, they can serve to beat down occasionally.
Yeah, pretty unlucky open here. Nothing he really wants to be first picking out of this pack. Probably take the Marsh Mist Titan because he's almost mono black. I mean, the Noble Quarry is an enchantment, but it's also a very aggressive card, and he's not very aggressive. But you could even table the Marsh Mist Titan because he saw so much black. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't fault him for not.
He could also speculatively, you know, something like a Kragma Butcher.
The thing is, he's not a very aggressive deck.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Butcher. I think if he was in a more aggressive build right now, he would take in the Noble Quarry. It's a good card in a really aggressive deck. It just doesn't offer his deck anything. And now it's funny because there's another really aggressive card, Spiteful Return, which I think he will take because it's an enchantment and everything, and there's no better options. I don't think it's a very powerful aggressive card. Sometimes you're on the play, sometimes you're dealing them damage. I mean, I don't think it's something he was hoping to be second picking.
Right.
But I think it's the best card in this pack for his deck.
Yeah, and he takes it.
And, you know, the draft steers you. You know, you don't steer the draft. So, I mean, now that, you know,
Is there a way to tilt this deck more aggressively?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes. I mean, you know, obviously Nyxborn Infusion isn't really an aggressive card. Brain Maggot's not really. Eidolon of Blossoms, you know. But, you know, we'll see what comes. This is a close pick.
Yeah, this is the choice here.
I don't
the
know
more
how
aggressive Painseer versus the more controlling Asphyxiate.
Yeah, and I don't even know how I feel about this pick. I mean, I think I like Asphyxiate better, but it's nice to have Bears, and he has a lot of late game, and I don't know that he has great 2-drops. So, I mean, this is a super tough pick. I think I would take Asphyxiate, but I'm definitely not going to fault him either way here. It's really nice to pick up, like, a playable Bear.
Yeah, and he did take the Painseer.
Yeah, because you don't want to play 2-mana 2/2 no ability, just have a 2-drop, and Painseer has a good ability. So it's, you know, it gives you a nice playable 2-drop, which adds a lot of value. I think I like the Asphyxiate because I think his deck's looking to play long games.
Right.
But I definitely don't fault him. That's the kind of pick, like we saw Huey's Griptide and Disciple earlier, where, like, given 20 seconds, I couldn't even tell you the right answer. After I think about it for 20 minutes, I'll tell you how I feel about it.
What do you like here, Servant of Timurid or Eater of Hope?
Definitely Servant. I don't know if he likes Eater. Like, I know some people do. I know Reed Duke does. I think Eater's extremely overrated. I don't think you get enough for 7 mana to play that card.
This just in, Yuya is the Japanese Reed Duke.
Right.
He took the Eater of Hope.
Right. I mean, Eater's better in his deck than some decks because his deck is looking for late games. Does have ways to draw cards and, like, you know, it's looking to be grindy and have win conditions. I just don't like Eater personally. I don't want to pay 7 for that.
Right. Now he's thinking about Nyxborn Eidolon versus Grave Robber Spider.
I would take the Grave Robber. You're looking at putting cards in your graveyard sometimes with Crufix's Insight and whatnot. Grave Robber Spider gets really big. It blocks flyers.
Yeah.
I know he wants to stick with the enchantment theme.
And he did stick with that. He took the...
And it is important to get every enchantment you can to make the Crufix's Insight good. But Grave Robber Spider in green-black with a Crufix's Insight, maybe you'll end up with a Wayfinder late. I know we haven't seen one yet, but I mean... I would personally take the Grave Robber there, but I think these are close picks.
Right. Do you consider Ashiok's Adept ever? Is that a card you see as all playable? I saw it deep in that pack.
If you have a lot of ways to target it, and you know it's...
Wow.
Yeah, and there's an Eidolon and a Wayfinder.
And a Drown in Sorrow, and another Servant.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that since he didn't take the Grave Robber Spider, there's no reason for him to take the Wayfinder. If he had, that would be in consideration. As is, he should just take Nyxborn Eidolon. I mean, he's sticking with the Enchantress theme, trying to make Crufix's Insight and Eidolon Blossoms as good as possible, which is totally reasonable.
Right.
So it would have been surprising, though, there if he took the Servant over the Nyxborn Eidolon.
Marsh Mist Titan and Ferris Band Tromper. Where does Tromper fall in the green commons? Just like middle of the pack, just whatever?
Yeah, I'll play it. I'm not excited by it. I mean, Yu is clearly much heavier black than green, which is good because it allows him to take advantage of Disciple, Phoenix, and Grey Merchant next pack. And he's clearly trying to stick to the enchantment theme hard enough for Eidolon Blossoms and Crufix's Insight to be good. So I don't think there's any reason really for him to be taking Fairburn Chompers or cards like that.
Takes Necrobite there.
Definitely this pack, a couple picks I would have made differently, but I think are extremely close picks.
Sure.
I don't think he's giving up much value. I don't think he's doing anything that is wrong. Definitely, I really like this draft so far.
Wow, Way to the Underworld, more enchantment synergy.
And just imagine with Eidolon Blossoms out.
He could have a selection of cards on his Crufix's Insight.
Yeah, and Crufix's Insight searches for Eidolon Blossoms potentially.
Yeah.
Once Eidolon Blossoms in play, all these enchantments that kill creatures are drawing you cards.
Yeah.
And that's my kind of combo deck because Eidolon Blossoms, 4-mana 2/2 draw a card is fine and limited on its own.
Right.
If they kill it, you're up a card.
Right.
If they don't kill it, you
Strike Bears for us.
Right, Strike Bears for us old timers. Definitely really like the deck you use drafting here.
What's his enchantment count? It's very high.
Yeah, and that's important because, like I said, people will play Crufix's Insight off 8 or 9 enchantments, and that's not good. Potential to whiff. If you get one, it's not really okay. But once you're on like 13, 14 enchantments, you're going to average 2, and you're even likely to spike 3. So, I mean, then it becomes a great card.
Right.
And I think the reason he took that Nyxborn Eidolon was strictly because of that, because I think that Crufix's Insight has the potential to be really good in his deck, and I think he wants to make it all work.
I think he's already over 10 enchantments that he would want to play in his deck.
Yeah, so he's just looking to make sure he picks up, you know, enough to power up Crufix's Insight, which I respect, because that card has the potential to be really good and find one of his best cards, Eidolon, and all this removal. I definitely don't fault him for that at all. He's probably correct. This should be a pretty easy cure. He's heavy black. I don't know why he's eyeing this Nimbus Naiad. He's not going to make his way into blue now. I know he has very few green cards, but Eidolon Blossoms and Crufix's Insight are so good in his deck, he's went out of his way to make them very good.
And he thought that he maybe feels like he's just going to draw so many cards with his deck that he can afford a splash easily.
I don't know.
Nimbus Naiad is the pick?
This is the first pick I don't think was close, and I don't understand what he's doing. He didn't. I mean, I know Nihilia's presence exists in this pack. He doesn't have any yet. He doesn't have a blue source.
There's a Disciple.
I don't get that pick.
So he's got Baleful Eidolon and Disciple and another Nimbus Naiad towards the front of the pack.
And this should be a tough pick between the black cards that we expected to be deciding between Baleful Eidolon and Disciple, because, like I said, he wants the enchantments to make the Eidolon and Crufix good. Disciple and Baleful Eidolon are close enough. You know, more synergy from Baleful. I really have no idea why he took Nimbus Naiad there, not Pharika's Cure. I'm stupefied to that pick. Everything else makes sense.
I think maybe he just feels like because he knew he was going to get a Temple.
Psychic Yuya, but I mean, he's not going to take Temple. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I guess he wants to splash Nimbus Naiad real bad. I mean, personally, I would be looking at these good green cards.
There's a Nessian Asp in that pack. There's a Voyaging Satyr in that pack.
Yeah, and I don't know his curve perfectly because we're here talking, but I mean, I'd be looking at Voyaging Satyr and Nessian Asp, deciding whether I wanted the 2-drop.
He took the Nimbus Naiad over the blue-black duel there, over the Temple of Deceit.
I don't understand why he has these 2 Nimbus Naiads. Like, when you go into a splash like this, it's because there were no good options for you.
I think he just sees blue-black as being open. Look at this.
Yeah, but like, is he dropping Eidolon Blossom?
I believe he is. I think he is.
Why is he doing that when there were good black and green cards in those packs? Those cards are both excellent in his deck. Better than Nimbus Naiads.
Yeah, I guess a Shipwreck Singer it is.
Well, now, I mean, with what he has right now, I might take the Shipwreck Singer, but I don't get why this move into blue. It makes no sense to me. He could have just taken Pharika's Cure and the Nessian Asp, and then taken that Disciple of Phoenix, and then he would also have Eidolon Blossoms and Crewfix's Insight instead of having to drop those.
Yeah. Now he has an Ordeal of Thassa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to play like all three. I mean, they're all enchantments. I'm not real, but I mean, he doesn't really have any like land fixing or anything, right?
Yeah, no, I think he's just going to go 2 colors, and he's just going to Grim Guardian and.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll have enough playables because he got endless black cards.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with the switch at all. If there were no good green or black cards in the pack, then you say, okay, I'm going to take Nimbus Naiad and leave the door open for blue if I need it. When you're taking it over Pharika's Cure, a good black card for your heavy black deck, and then taking Nimbus Naiad over Nessian Asp. Nessian Asp is probably better than Nimbus Naiad right now.
Right.
I mean, I don't get why you're switching in that situation.
There goes a Blood Toll Harpy.
Sure.
Traveler's Amulet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Yuya's thinking. I don't know if he's blue-black or if he's going to be green-black-blue here.
I have definitely seen Yuya play 3-color decks. You know, without giving it much of a thought.
Yeah,
I
mean, he has a fantastic limited resume.
Yeah.
He's done very well in limited GPs. He has a very high lifetime
how do you like that
percentage
Read
in
the
Pro Tour
Bones?
and Booster Draft. Yeah, I love this Read the Bones. He has a very controlling deck with a lot of removal, you know. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I would like to ask him what he's thinking. I'll probably try when I get a chance to go back and talk to him.
What do you take here? The sideboard Dark Betrayal or the Traveler's Amulet?
It depends on what he's doing. If he's going to play all 3, I take the Amulet. If he's going to play just blue-black, I take the Dark Betrayal.
I think he took the Fleshmad Steed.
I would not take the Fleshmad Steed. I would take the Dark Betrayal if I was going to play blue-black, and the Amulet if I was going to play blue-black-green.
He goes a null there over Fleshmad Steed. Oh, a late green Ordeal going around. Takes the Viper's Kiss. Solid card.
Yeah, Viper's Kiss is good. I think it's underrated.
Okay.
It's good sideboard
so
card.
There you go. You see him just kind of getting a late sip of Hemlock. And that's pretty much Yuya's draft. Really curious to see whether he ends up playing 3 colors or just goes blue-black.
Yeah.
Something we've seen happen a lot as players have gotten into this 3rd pack, as they've drifted into blue-black. There you have it. We just watched Yuya Watanabe draft. Got a couple questions for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go talk to him when I get the chance.